Hello, everyone, and welcome to Design Story, where we break down design in its simplest form. In part one of our third episode, we have something different for you listeners. First, we will examine design from a user's perspective and then dive deep into it layer by layer. But first, let's hear from Noshina, my co host and the co captain of the ship. How are you?
Thank you, Rishika. I am fine, and it's good to be back. And I think whatever you just mentioned is a great approach because honestly, we always overlook design when we interact with digital systems while ordering food, making a payment, or simply scrolling. I mean, if I was not from this field, I wouldn't give this much thought.
Honestly, same here. And the interesting thing is, none of it feels complicated, even though we know what goes on behind the scenes and how these systems are incredibly complex.
It's like design is not only about aesthetics, it's about functionality in the modern world. So, Ishika, what is the biggest change you see in UI UX?
Mm, there was a time when UI UX was treated as a finishing step. I mean, the team would work on the features first, and then UX designers would make it usable. Frankly, it just made the entire process unnecessarily complex. But now it's a different story. Wouldn't you agree, Noshina?
Totally, Ishika. Today, the order has reversed. If people can't understand a system, they won't adopt it. No ifs and buts in that. Which means UI UX is no longer supporting technology. It's deciding whether technology even enters everyday life and starts shaping how we as a society operate.
Well, I think UPI is the perfect example of how design evolves across everyday life. Once everyone was unsure, but now it's a primary payment mode in India. I mean, it's fast, simple, and does not feel like you're solving calculus.
UPI didn't expect people to understand how banking works. It just focused on what they wanted to do. That is just simply to send, receive, and confirm.
You know, the best part of UPI is its all inclusive design for people from different walks of life.
That's why nearly 1.4 billion people adopted it. Not because of marketing campaign, but because it offered simplicity.
Well, I think UPI didn't just change India's payment habits, it altered how the world looks at digital financial infrastructure. But designer to designer, what do you think worked in its favor?
I think for a long time, digital payment system didn't really feel welcoming. And they treated the problem like a technical challenge, focusing on things like connectivity and security. But they actually missed something important: how people feel when using these systems, the fear of making a mistake, the hesitation to trust something new. That psychological barrier mattered just as much.
That's so true. People avoid systems that make them feel slow or confused or scared of getting it wrong. I know I wouldn't open an app that feels heavy just to finish a 5-minute task. Not worth the stress, Naushana.
Exactly. And that's what changed with UPI. It didn't ask people to learn finance. It just made them feel capable from the first step.
There was no sense of this isn't for you. You didn't feel watched. You didn't feel tested.
That's right. First time users felt welcomed, not evaluated. And once that fear disappeared, people just started using it.
And this is where this things started to get interesting. Because when design removes fear, confusion, and hesitation, it doesn't just help people take action, it makes them feel welcome to take part.
Exactly, Ishika. And once people start participating, design begins to operate at a much deeper level, shaping behavior, confidence, and belonging in ways we don't even notice.
In the next part, we will take this conversation further and uncover how design quietly shapes decision, builds participation, and influences the way people interact with both digital systems and the real world, often without them even realizing it.
So, we'll see how design quietly shapes the moment we live with every day. Till then, stay cool, stay curious, and stay thoughtful.